Australians' 2020 money fears. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee, because I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au discussing our 2020 money fears and, well, the implications of maybe a too enjoyable holiday season. How did you go, guys? Let us know in the comments while I have a sip of my morning water. Did you splurge a little bit too much over the Christmas period? We kind of spent a little bit more on toys than we anticipated. Taking those kids to the Lego shop at Robina was definitely a mistake. Let us know how you went. Are you waking up now with a hangover and some afterpay bills? Or were you sensible or just, paid with cash? So, let's look at this, because I was hoping that retailers might, get a bit of help over the Christmas Day period. Might, drag them out off the verge of going under, which doesn't seem to happen with some. But then again, this quarter we're going to see just what happens to personal insolvencies, everyone. All the support mechanisms are starting to be pulled away. So the economy might actually have to, experience a recession. So the Christmas come down. 1 in 4 Aussies worry about mortgage or rent payments. That's 25%, everyone. Aussies are feeling the financial pinch for 2020, with some extremely nervous about being able to keep a roof over their head. I mean, this is the thing, guys. We're still in a world where you've got mortgage holidays, you've got JobKeeper propping up businesses, you've got a job seeker bonus, which still is around. And people are worried. Remember, we were looking earlier in last year about these couples, always in the ABC stories, professional couples that had no reserve, no emergency fund, and were completely dependent on the good graces of the banks giving them mortgage holidays to allow them to stay in their house. There's like a project manager and a warehouse manager, people that should be on 6-figure incomes, not having enough stashed aside. It just shows you the world that we're in. The lack of financial education literacy here in Australia. But sometimes you need a good slap across the face to wake up. And this, I'm hoping this recession and economic hit to Australians will be that slap across the face. And they'll go, you know what, never again. I'm getting out of this mess. I'm taking control. Maybe I'm being naive, but I'm sure a lot of people, this will be the wake-up call for them. 1 in 4 Australians, 25%, are worried about how they will pay the rent or mortgage after Christmas, according to new research by comparison site Finder. That's equivalent to 4.8 million Australians who may have difficulty coming up with the funds to pay their mortgage or rent. The Finder survey of 1,004 respondents revealed 16% of Australians are somewhat worried about meeting payments, while a further 9% say they are extremely worried. The problem is more pronounced for men, with nearly 1 in 3, 31% of those surveyed, anxious about paying rent or their mortgage after Christmas, compared with 19% of women. 31% of men. Sarah Migginson, home loan expert at Finder, said in COVID times, Christmas could push people over the edge financially. Many households are still facing hardship and relying on stimulus money to get by as the pandemic goes on, as the lockdowns go on as well. For families whose income for December is less than it was last year, this can cause significant budget shortfalls and lead to financial troubles, Ms. Migginson added. Many will have to choose which bills to fall behind on. The research shows that young people are most vulnerable when it comes to missing their payments. One third of Gen X and Gen Y Aussies respectively are worried about paying their rent or mortgage over Christmas, compared to just 5% of the boomers. Now, here's the thing. You've got to remember that the people who've invested in these properties may start to see people not paying their rent. And what's going to happen once the moratoriums disappear? We're going to start seeing evictions. And how will this impact the value of property? What will the government do? What would the government's response be to all of this? Oh, more housing grants. Mortgage keeper TM. Many young Aussies have found themselves jobless this year, as youth unemployment hit a 23-year high of 16.4% in June, leaving them the most vulnerable to missed rental or mortgage payments. Victorian households are the most burdened by their living costs, with a whopping 37% of residents concerned about making rent or mortgage payments over the festive season. 37%, everyone. While Victoria bore the economic brunt of the pandemic, and also Victoria is receiving the biggest proportion of JobKeeper. Nearly 9% of their work, of the employed people in Victoria, are being propped up by JobKeeper, everyone. It's the highest in the country. Just think about that. While Victoria bore the economic brunt of the pandemic, rental prices have not fallen in proportion with the recession. In Melbourne, the median asking rent in September was $425, down just 2% year on year, according to CoreLogic data. Well, this is probably because they've got deferrals on their mortgage payments. That's probably why. So they're hoping it'll all be good. They're banking on this V-shaped recovery. This is a problem. We've got a two-speed economy that's going to be exacerbated here. Finder analysis of the Australian Bureau of Statistics data shows the total value of owner-occupier home loans in Australia reached a record high of $16.5 billion in October, a 24% increase year on year. You'd hate it to be that you've got people that have taken all of these government bribes and incentives to get into housing right now, and then they lose their job. Then they lose their house. I don't want to be reading about those stories next year. I somehow think they're going to appear. First home buyers are also borrowing 44% more than they were last year. With interest rates at record lows, Australians on fixed term contracts may not be getting the best deal for their home loans, she said. Now is a great time to refinance your home loan. Just a small change in your rate could end up saving you thousands. Some lenders offer cashback for refinanced loans, so it's worth scanning your options. Mr. Megginson said it's not too late to keep financial stress at bay this holiday season. Shop smart by taking advantage of sales, avoid traveling to expensive areas, and keep your energy bill low by replacing air conditioning with a fan, she suggested. If you're having trouble making your mortgage repayments, contact your bank and discuss your options. If you keep them in the loop and continue making regular repayments, they'll work with you through this tougher season, she said. So if you're struggling with rent or mortgage repayments, negotiate with your landlord. Rental rates are not set in stone, so if you feel you're paying too much, it may be time to ask for a discount. Be sure to come prepared with competitive prices for similar properties in your area. Emphasize why you're a good tenant, and most importantly, be polite. I mean, a landlord would be nuts to not negotiate with a tenant, a good tenant that you have now. I mean, you'd want to keep them in, give them a good deal, because, well, there's going to be a lot of competition in stock. How many people are moving in the same apartment building, I wonder, for cheaper rent? Move in with friends. Oh, like back in uni days. If your current lease is up for renewal, why not move into a share house to save money? This way you can split the cost of rent, bills, and groceries. Consider refinancing. If you've been with the same lender for a long time, it's a good chance you could get a better deal elsewhere. Interest rates are at record lows, with some dipping as low as 1.88%. With this in mind, talk to your lender or compare your options online. Your current lender may also be willing to negotiate a lower rate in order to keep you as a customer, which can lead to instant savings. So do a spending audit. The new year is a perfect time to take a look at your finances and see if there are any expenses that can be left in 2021. Pay close attention to nice-to-haves like streaming services, gym memberships, or other subscription services, and see where you can put a little money back into your pocket. One thing we do is a yearly cash flow projection. Rachel projects our cash flow out to the end of the year, and we anticipate what our tax bill will be. We do that for personal, what's coming in from all our different revenue streams, and then she averages it out over the year, saying, okay, we're going to keep getting that for the rest of the year. That's probably the most useful thing that we have, just to plan and to make sure. That's where I can say, okay, we kind of blew the Christmas budget a little bit because we went, spent a little bit more on kids, because we're aware of that. If you're aware of that, that's fine. If it's not a surprise and you've got the money there and you can be a little irresponsible because, it's Christmas, why not? Go on, go ahead, do it. Blow the money, but know what's going on. The biggest thing is people are frittling away money and they don't know where it's going. They're not keeping track of it. What do you reckon, guys? What do you think about this advice and suggestions? And, well, are you concerned about making your mortgage or rental repayments? Or what advice would you give to someone to improve their situation? I'd say get rid of all of the nice to have things. 100%. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.